everyone. So today I sat down wanting to do some little charms that I create myself out of paper. So what I'm doing, I've just gotten where I really love this, is doing these different charms that hang off my pages either on the side or from the top. And here's a little one that's done like a paper clip. But I'm going to show you some like you see here in this box today. This is just from a piece of paper, a bunches of pieces of paper, okay? I cut this one out. I cut just plain cardstock or something in between. And I stamped on the last white one. I really don't like that. I'll tell you what I'm going to do right now. I got a little bit of ink on this. It's too white for this vintage looking thing. So there's always ink on this thing. I use it a lot. So yeah, these are all done with just papers that I have collected somehow through the years. You can layer them up this way. You can hang them off. You can hang them from like a paper clip. So if you want it more dangly off your page, attach your paper clip to the side, say of a page, and let it stick out however much you want. And so now you have a little dangly off the side of your page. There's so many different ways you can do it without buying really special things. Now, the one special thing I did buy that I absolutely love are these little, they're like safety pins, but they're bigger up here so you can put more things hanging off of them, beads and, you know, things like this. So I really do love these. And if you have little safety pins, you can use those too. All right, so I'm going to show you one of the fastest ways, though, I have found of doing these. You see, I've got them in all shapes and sizes, but one of the fastest ways I found is to use one of my hole punches. All right, oh, you can do it with photographs as well. So I have a couple here that I might use. This is 1.5 inch, and this is a 2-inch one. All right, this one does really big ones like this. This is one that I just did a few minutes ago. I might go back and stamp something on the back. I don't know. I can at least do a little inking on the back. All right, I can go in at this point and I can do an eyelet, or I can leave it just like it is, or I can put a couple of other things with it. I could put a couple little small beads or other types of danglies. See there? And then I can attach that to a clip or a paper clip. Little paper clips like this can be fun because they come in different colors. And I can attach that to the side of my page and then put that in there. So yeah, there's so many different things to do. So let me show you how to do the circular ones super quick. All right, I'm going to put that on there so it's ready to hang off of the book. Well, that didn't work because I didn't close it. My eyes are not focusing today. So I've been doing caricature gigs, which is what I do for a living. And boy, I've had a bunch in a few days. And I can tell after a few days of just back-to-back ones, my eyes, they are not 20 or 30 years old anymore, or 40 or 50. So these are things that I have cut out that I want to do this technique with. And so I keep them in my little tray here with the ones I've already completed. So I can go down here and find, you know, these little ones that I want to do. You can use, like I buy these little tags and things to add to my journals. But look, that'd make a really cute one right there. So just look around, little small images. All right, and you can do, if you've got a square punch, oval punch, whatever, you can do a lot of different things. So let me put this aside. The other thing you can do is take one of your punches, all right, and find some paper that you like, maybe that has smaller images. You can cut out, you know, I can do just one of these, like a big one here, if I want, or I can just do smaller. I think I'm going to do a couple of smaller ones. So I can kind of see what I'm getting when I do it that way. Maybe do one more, maybe one of these white ones over here. All right, I'm going to do that. and maybe a couple off of here. I love florals, and they find their way into my journals quite often. So these will come in handy. Go over here, maybe do, let's see, a little more pink. How about that? Okay, so now I've got enough that I can make either 2 buttons or 4. The reason I say that is you can back it with just plain paper, or you can back it with something similar. Or I can put these two together, you know, but I think I'll probably keep them in the same family. So I think I'll make 2 so I can back it with the same paper. All right, so I've got I pulled out a few different cardstocks to put in between. And I was going to put them on the back as well. So, so this one, what do you think? I might make different ones and just make these the front, because I really do like these papers. So each one, and it just depends on the thickness of your paper, because if you've been to the craft store, you know they're super, I don't know about anymore. I'm not finding really nice papers at Michael's and stuff as much anymore. Not individually by the sheet, but not all cardstock is the same. Some is super heavy, and some's a lighter weight. This is probably an 80 pound. And I know 80 pounds because that's the paper I draw on for my caricatures. I use rather robust paper, so people's stuff doesn't crease and bend so much before they can get it home. All right, so 4, let me see, let me put those together. I might do one more. I can't remember on this particular weight paper if I use 4 or 5. All right, so I am going to use this, and I think I'm going to back it in this. So let me just go down this line. I'm just going to go ahead and punch several of these. And then I'll decide how I want to put them all together, whether I want to see pink in between or not. All right, this should be enough to kind of do these. So I've got the light blue and I've got the pink here. And then I think this green will be really pretty with these. So I'll do those next. So let me just show you real quick how I put these together. Now you can use a glue stick. What I prefer is this art glitter glue because it has a very tiny nozzle. This glue sticks really fast. So that helps me do these quicker, and then I can punch the hole and it just all goes so much faster without having to wait for anything to dry. So sometimes if I'm doing the vintage ones, I will go ahead and ink, you know, maybe the top one if it's got a white border to make it that 2-inch size, because this one was a little bit smaller than the 2-inch, but it was bigger than the 1.5 inch. So I gave it a little bit of a border and then inked it, okay? I'm not going to ink these. So let me decide here if I want to do pink in between, or maybe just at the back. I'm just going to start. Now you'll see why I like this. Hold on. Whoops. All right. Just making sure it didn't get knocked off. Sometimes my video gets knocked off. So I hold it in my hand like this, and I start here, and I use my fingers as like borders. All right, I want to get up close, then a couple inside, and then I hold my hands around it like this, and then hold this with a couple of fingers, because this glue sets fast. If you place it down, it already starts getting hard to pull off. It's a lot faster than like a glue stick. So keeping it all confined within, my fingers act as a border, and that helps place it. All right, so I'm gonna not get confused here. I'm gonna start with the next one. Place it between my fingers, go around, kind of use my fingers as a bumper, And come inside. Put a couple of fingers on this in between the other fingers I have. Booyah. I think I'm going to need 2 more. Maybe. I just have to gauge as I go. Like I said, every paper is just different. Let's see if I put one of these on the back, what that does. Yeah, I think I want another one in between. I like it where it feels like a thick piece of chipboard. I'll get one of these out that I like. I'm getting close. So I think I'll go ahead and put the back one on now, which I'm going to use this one. And if you decide you did want to ink around them, you can always do that after this. But these aren't really vintagey looking, so I wasn't going for that vibe. So there's one. Let me do the other one fairly quickly. I was surprised when I started doing this just how many different things I could put in a square or a circular punch. It would bring out images. If you collect books to use in your art, there's images, you know, florals and all kinds of stuff in some of the books that I bring home. Because that's what I tend to hit at the thrift stores. Now that one didn't get a nice clear punch. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little bit of frayed. That happens sometimes when punching, so I'll just take that off. Two more. The day I first started doing these, I started just really seeing, I had kept some ephemera images and in a file folder, and so I went through those first, and then I noticed I had some wrapping paper I had kept, and it was really cool. I'll show you that one in a second. So it's this right here. I don't have too much of it anymore. But this worked really well because I could use my hole punch. And so I did that for a couple of them. I don't know if I did more than one size. It's the only one I see right now. I think I've already used a couple of them in books. But yeah, it was punched out of this gift wrap. So you just never know. Old children's dictionaries and stuff. This is a vintage one, you know. So it even has images that I could use. There's so much sitting around my studio that I can use for this. Okay, so let me put my pen back in this because this will dry up kind of quickly. Ooh, it's already getting that way. If it gets a little sticky going in, I'll just take my fingernail and clean off the stem of the pen. There we go. All right, now, this is when a crocodile comes in handy because it'll go through these layers like butter. All right, let me get that out of there. So, this is the small one I want to do. You can see the little window through here to see where you're going. So I kind of put this where I think I might like it. And I'm just going to pop my hole. Now, I can leave it just like that and put the little things through it, or I can put in an eyelet, which I think I'll do here. Because I have these little white eyelets I hardly ever use because I do a lot of vintagey stuff. So let me put one of those in here. And before I did this part, if I wanted to do some kind of stamping, I mean, I could do it afterwards. It would just be a little easier. Before I did this, I would do some stamping if that's what I wanted to do. But if I want that, I can go back and do it later. And there we go. So I can just put something like this through it. And let me see, I have different colors in here. There's even blue. This blue color, which might be kind of nice. Oh, that one's gotten a little tangled up. I don't have time to work with that. Here we go. So now I can always do a small, something else small in front of it. So I've got some of these little labels that I actually bought these as a digital image, and so I could put something like that, put a little smaller one in front of it and layer them, which I think I would want to do with this because this doesn't have necessarily a focal point. So let's see what this does. I'm just going to pull this off. It's nice. They're all interchangeable. All right. So let me go in this one first, and then this one. Yeah. There we go. So now this can go off the top of a page, on the side of a page. I could do something like, let me put it on the back page. I can put it closer to the spine so you see it more there. I kind of like them. I don't know, I've gotten into this thing recently where I like them off the side, like that. So when I'm opening that page, that's what adds to it. Okay? So there is that one. Now let me show you what you can do with this. So I can either do this on a large one if I have plenty of area around here, but this would work. This is old. I think I got a little book of a bunch of vintage images. So I don't have a lot of paper to, so I just have to kind of like play with it. Wasn't a very big piece of paper left with this image. So let me see if I can do it this way. There we go. Okay. So now this one, it was just right at that size and it didn't get a clean cut on one side from the punch. I don't know if it's just losing some of its sharpness. I'm not worried about it. Not like I use it all day, every day. Just clean that up a little bit. So now I can do whatever color I want and I can make that into one. But I'm not ready to do that now, so I'm just going to put it back in my box with all my others. This is a sticker I bought, kind of like Art Deco inspired set of stickers. This is from a photo, an old, this is from a photo, and I cut it with stamp scissors. So, in case you don't know what that is, I've had these for years and years. It's actually called Stamp. It was made by Fiskars, and these are probably 20 years old. But so when you cut it, it gives that look of a stamp. I showed you those. This was from a small playing card deck. Not sure where I got them, but I just had a few. I didn't have the whole deck. And so I just kind of collaged on it. I put an image on it, and I put some dimensional foam behind it to make it raise up off the surface. And I added it to another that had a photo on it. I thought these these were cute. These long ones like this. And that might be something I want to add, a couple other little things to it. Now, I cut that out. I haven't done anything with it yet. That's going to get layered, but it can get layered on a plain piece of paper, or it can get layered over something else because it's vellum. Vellum and tissue can be really cool for that. So I can layer that over something like that before I start layering it over my cardstock. Let's see, anything else special? No, I just kind of made a label looking thing out of that. And here's another card one. I haven't punched anything in that, though. I haven't really made that one thick. It's still kind of thin, so I haven't decided how I'm going to proceed with that. This was an old photo. This backing here, that is an old piece of gift wrap that had, you know, antique writing on it. And I loved it, and I've been using off of it for years. I don't have a whole lot left because I'm not sure I had a whole roll, to be honest with you. And this was a sticker. And I actually did this one today, and it came out of a little sticker book like this that had a lot of vintage images. And a lot of the ones in here are circles. So that makes it really easy to create charms out of these because I can use my circle punch. So this book has all kinds of things. This wouldn't be hard to do because you could just cut the length, cut your squares. It's not quite as easy as a punch, but it'd be easy enough. And then round the corners. And so I do want to do one of the old cassette tapes. I think that would really be cool. Let's see what else. Lots of circles. So some of these are stopwatches, but you can just use the inside part if you prefer. Or you could take your time and do, you know, the whole stopwatch and cut it out by hand. But yeah, anything you could do with circles or squares, or any of your punches, it makes it go really fast. I would do my circle punch with this. Just layering it over something that I think looks cool, like a really rusty looking piece of paper or something. And so yeah, hope you'll give it a try. They're a lot of fun. I really love all that textural stuff hanging from a book. I think that's really neat. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope I see you next time. Bye.